This really matters. For a second night in a row, the U.S. and Iran traded military strikes. U.S. Central Command says the new strikes are aimed at undermining Iran's ability to threaten ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Throughout the morning, there have been missile alerts in Gulf countries like Bahrain and Jordan as Tehran retaliated across the region. Just yesterday, the president said he thinks the ceasefire with Iran is over. I'm pretty sure the president is correct on that. Joining us now, Priya Sridhar, Pentagon reporter for MS Now. Peter and Mark still with us. Priya, this is now the fourth time the U.S. has hit Iran since the Memorandum of Understanding was signed. And each time it's been like a short burst, then back to relative calm for a while. This feels like it's different.
Yeah, that's right, Steph. We're really seeing violence escalating in the region. Central Command over the last 2 days have hit 170 sites inside of Iran, including military logistics infrastructure, drone and missile storage sites, coastal surveillance assets, air defense systems, small vessels, anything like you mentioned that could really degrade Iran's ability to hit commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz. In retaliation, we saw Iran, as you mentioned, hit both Bahrain and Kuwait. Of course, both of those countries were able to intercept missiles. They both host large United States military bases. So there was minimal damage, no casualties reported. But I think all of this really highlights, as you mentioned, just how fragile this quote unquote ceasefire is. Remember, this 60-day period was really supposed to be focused on Iran's nuclear program. But instead, we're talking about the ceasefire and the Strait of Hormuz once again.
Mark, this week the president really changed his tune on Iran's new leadership, certainly compared to what he said last month. I want to share just a bit of it.
I found them to be more rational, very smart. We found them to be rational. We're dealing with people that I think are very rational people. And they were nice to deal with. They were strong people, smart people. They're very smart people, very good negotiators, but so are we. Iran is being very nice. They're agreeing to everything that I want, and they have to. They're scum. You know what scum is? They're scum. They're sick people. They're led by sick people. And they're vicious, violent people.
What changed, and do you think...
I got to know them. So I got to know them. And I'm not sure I want to make a deal with them. We can play games, but I'm not sure I want to make a deal. Let's just finish the job.
Very smart, very nice, very good negotiators. Now they're scum, vicious, and vile, and let's finish the job. And it's unclear, Mark, if finish the job means let's just end this war or let's escalate it. What's your take? Is he just sort of expressing his frustration that he's trapped in this cycle with Iran?
I mean, maybe they're just rational scum. I mean, maybe we can bridge the gap here. I mean, I think it's bizarre. I mean, yes, I think he's exhausted by this. I think he's completely at wit's end, although it's not clear how much wit he ever applied to this. There's just not a lot of deep thinking behind this. And that was sort of underscored by how, the country got into this to begin with. There wasn't a lot of deliberation, certainly with Congress, certainly with allies and so forth. I mean, you just don't know what he means by we're going to end this. I mean, does that mean we just walk away, or does it mean something completely draconian, which I think is what is in the back or in the front of everyone's mind here? Again, it's all very whimsical. It seems to be going on in the bizarre contours of his mind that we see play out. It's obviously a short-term thing. It goes day to day. I don't know. I wish I had like a solid, ribbon to tie up this answer with, but we just don't know with him.
But he can't just walk away, right? The Wall Street Journal is reporting that new attacks on the ships in the Strait is particularly infuriating him. We have less control of the Strait of Hormuz today than we have in years. And the price of oil, the price of gas is a huge issue for President Trump. So Peter, explain to us what you think, what's going on in his head now. He's frustrated.
Of course, he's frustrated. Absolutely. This is not the easy war he thought it was going to be. He said back in February, remember this started in February, this is now July, that it would be a 4 to 6 week war that, and multiple times since then, he has said we have won everything we wanted to do, except actually what he set out to do, which was to have some sort of a guarantee that there would never be a nuclear program in Iran. That's not, in fact, done. And it's not clear where he goes from here. In a way, he's once again in a trap of his own making because of the goals he has set and the ones he's already abandoned, like regime change, he risks coming out of a war without having accomplished what he himself said he wanted to accomplish. And the other choice, as Mark was just talking about, is returning to war is not a palatable one either. A full-scale war heading into the fall midterm elections. The Iranians understand our clock the way we do. They understand that he doesn't want this to be the headline, while people are starting to vote, because they're going to be thinking about the price of gas at the pump. They're going to be thinking about the instability in the world, the fact that the president promised he would initiate no new wars. That's something Republicans would just soon not run on.
I got two questions. I really hope I have time to get to them. Priya, last night you reported that the reason Trump flew home on his old plane, the original Air Force One, is because the new one that was gifted to him, to us from Qatar, he's not on because of security concerns around this new plane, especially in the middle of a war. Dare I say, no duh. We heard from so many security experts that said, hold on, this thing has been so rushed. No one knows what is in this thing. Is the White House now realizing that?
Yeah, that's right, Steph. I think many national security officials have been advising the president that he should not be flying on this new Qatari jet, especially overseas, especially at a time that we're seeing violence increasing in the Middle East. They really expedited the timeline here, the Air Force, to get this jet up to speed to become an Air Force One. And while the White House and the Air Force have emphasized that no shortcuts were taken, there have been many concerns raised by our sources about the command and control functionality that essentially turn that Air Force One into what people call a flying White House situation room, which would allow the president to receive classified intelligence briefings, that would allow him to securely communicate with military officers all over the world, and also issue orders like authorizing the strikes that we saw in Iran just last night. And those were the main reasons our sources are telling us that they advised the president to not fly on the new Qatari jet and instead fly on the old Air Force One.
And quickly before we go, Priya, with these increased strikes, how does Israel factor into all this?
Well, that's a great question. I think since the very beginning, we've been asking the question, how much has Israel known about what the United States is doing, if they are, in fact, happy to see the violence resuming here? Because, of course, according to many sources, their strategy and their objective here has been regime change and not trying to end this in a diplomatic solution. But I think the question really that everyone's asking right now is the United States going to be able to bomb its way out of this conflict, or will we have to go back to the diplomatic negotiating table here?
Will we have to go back to the diplomatic negotiating table with Jared Kushner, Steve Witkoff, and J.D. Vance? Priya, thank you so much. Peter, Mark, great to see you both.